Today is Tuesday, April 28th. Welcome back into the Keep Boone Healthy Facebook video channel. I'm David Jackson with the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce, and today we are talking about Hunger and Health Coalition and also kind of the nonprofit business model up here. We've known the High Country to be such a philanthropically driven community for so long, and those needs are real, and the work that our nonprofit community is doing has been incredibly helpful in helping our community kind of find their way through this COVID-19 crisis. We're joined today by Elizabeth Young from Hunger and Health Coalition, no stranger to anyone in this community, I'm sure. But Elizabeth, your agency has been one of many that has been on the front lines of this COVID-19 response, if you will. Give us a sense of what your day-to-day has been like since this all started about 6-7 weeks ago.
Gosh, David, it's been wild times, truly. Every day is different. I can say that we have, I feel like we were really pretty adept at adapting before, and that has certainly been true now. So our volunteer base has all but dissipated almost entirely. We have our ASU students, of course, have largely gone home. We do have about 3 or 4 students that have stayed with us and are very grateful for that. And most of our community volunteers have chosen to stay home and take care of their health, and we certainly support that too. But we do have a few people that have stuck with us, but largely our entire staff is exclusively frontlines at this time. We've made a lot of adaptations as far as converting everything that we do to a drive-through option to try to keep people socially distanced and as safe as possible. And so we're using that for our food as well as our pharmacy.
You bring up a point that I'm sure that so many nonprofit agencies especially are dealing with now. It's that eroding volunteer base. And like you just
Definitely.
mentioned, for a completely legitimate and very needed reason,
Yes.
to make sure that they're staying healthy themselves. How have you worked with limited staff and resources to try to counterbalance that? Is this a time where you feel like finding new volunteer support is the right way to go, or have you chosen to take different options in making sure you're still able to provide the service while also not trying to create a new volunteer program at the same time?
I think it's both. We've got lots of hand sanitizer, we've got gloves, we've got masks. We've had a lot of people that have stepped forward to make homemade masks. If you're one of those, thank you. We really appreciate it. And so, again, we're down to our core staff, but we have chosen to bring on some volunteers, but we've really screened them pretty highly. We've asked folks to take their temperature as well, made sure that they haven't had any sort of travel history. So, we're bringing on some people, but just trying to be, rather selective and making sure that people screen themselves as much as possible to keep everybody safe.
This particular issue has brought forward a lot of community concerns, maybe in different light. We were talking with Dave Walker a few weeks ago about Blue Ridge Women in Ag and the food hub and how people were finding them now because of the need for local sourcing being a little bit different. And that's been a great thing to happen, not the circumstances you wanted, but now people have found their eyes there. I think the same could be said for the food insecurity issues of Watauga County, where that might not have always been on the forefront of people's mind, but they are seeing it in a major way now. How has your response been to try to meet some of those challenges, knowing that you're probably not operating with that full fleet of volunteers, and certainly money is tight around the community right now, so I'm sure that isn't as abundant as you would like it to be also.
Yeah, it's, again, we've seen our community rally in beautiful ways. It's certainly highlighted a lot of different social disparities. We've seen a lot of people, new families come to us seeking services, and those are a lot of people that work in the tourism and hospitality industry. We're seeing a lot of people that have worked in housekeeping services and others. And so we continue to see that roll in. And another thing that I'd like to highlight too, we started a local purchasing program for foods maybe 5 years ago or so as a real intentional way to keep money in our community. And we've really just amped that up since this time. One thing that's been a major change is, as everyone has seen, I think, the grocery stores have limited supplies of various items far beyond toilet paper. And so accessing a lot of things, the supply chain is rather backed up. And that's reflected in what's donated to us as well. So previously we would receive thousands of pounds from local grocery stores of items that were approaching their expiration date, or perhaps would be blemished somewhat, but would be perfectly usable. That's all but dried up because the grocery stores are being flooded. So we've really leaned pretty heavily on both local and regional food producers, and relying on those relationships to bring more items in. And then, of course, we have a long-standing relationship with our regional food bank. That's the Second Harvest Food Bank located out of Winston. And so for every dollar donated, we're able to purchase $5 worth of food. And I feel really grateful in that there have been a number of individuals and local businesses that have really stepped forward to try to make sure that we do have enough funds to be able to meet this demand. We're spending at least $15,000 a month just on food purchases alone, to try to keep up with demand, with that loss of donations. And so I'm really, really thankful for that. And one of those is Appalachian Mountain Brewery's Happy Hour. So I just want to highlight that for a moment. Danny Wilcox over at A&B has been an incredible fellow to partner with. And he's created the High Country Happy Hour, and that's every Friday between 8 and 10. And you can tune in live on their Facebook page. And it's a wonderful way to be with community, perhaps while you're at your own home, enjoy a beverage or two, and hear some local musicians. And so those musicians are getting paid, and then their foundation is matching some funding of what local donors are giving. And that's been a really wonderful fundraiser and a way for us to purchase food to give to our local community.
Well, and certainly the creativity in how people are trying to match up with their favorite organization of choice, or maybe a collective group of organizations like we saw with Virtual Marathon this past weekend. The creativity is certainly something that makes for lighter work and a little bit more fun work at a time where we need something positive to distract us,
That's
a
right.
good cause to rally around. Elizabeth, there's so many people that are asking the question of many nonprofits right now. What is it you need? So I'll ask you that question. What is it you need? What are ways that people can support you?
So I think there's lots of different ways to engage, and depending on what's going on in your life, maybe you want to veg at home. So you can certainly tune into some of those local fundraisers. You can give monetarily, like I mentioned, every dollar donated purchases $5 worth of food, and that goes directly into food for our community. And I think that's a really special way to give. Also, we've had some people go to the grocery store and pick up extra groceries, and they can just come out and leave it on their hood. They don't have to interact with us at all, or leave it, let us know that they're coming and bring items that way. If people do not have a travel history and you feel well and you're getting a little stir crazy at home, as I think many folks are, we've got lots of different ways for you to come and volunteer in a way that is really safe. So that's another way to do this. And then in looking towards the future, we're always, looking out on the best way that we can assist our community. One of the things that we're working towards right now is receiving a lot more produce through our relationship with Second Harvest Food Bank. And with that, we are looking to manufacture CSA style produce boxes, not only to give to our clients, but also to hand out through the school meal distributions. So we will be looking for individuals, families, friend groups, socially distanced, of course, to help us pack those boxes and then to deliver them to the schools each week. This is something that we hope to have be an ongoing program as well. So if you're interested and just feeling a little stir crazy at home, you can certainly give us a call at our office. That's 262-1628. Again, 262-1628. And Terry is our volunteer coordinator. She is a lovely, chipper woman that is, she's our resident cheerleader. And I promise you, you feel so loved. We have a good time every day. And you sleep really well. So if you're cooped up and looking to expend some energy, we'd love to have you. And then I'll say also the last piece, advocacy is so important. Like you highlighted earlier, David, I think a lot of these social disparities are really being highlighted now, and the people that were struggling before are really, really, really struggling now. So if you can just share that there's a need out there, just kind of expand your own knowledge of the disparities that are in our county, or get engaged with our team or any of the groups that are working on the ground right now, I think would be a true blessing.
You mentioned a moment ago about the demand increasing. Can you give any kind of perspective on what your daily distribution was maybe prior to this, and what you're looking at now, just out of your agency, also knowing that there are a number of other agencies that are trying to tackle food insecurities in different parts of the area as well?
Yeah, I mean, early on, we saw an increase of about 60 families. So we were seeing about roughly, and this was a pretty big increase for us too, we were seeing about 18 families a month. So to go up to 60 new families on top of what we're already serving is quite a lot. And I imagine that as we go on, this will continue to grow. I think some families have received a stimulus check. I hope most have at this time, but I think after that levels out and people are paying any rents that they might have and any bills, people will continue to be hurting for quite some time.
When you look at, again, the philanthropic nature of our community, so many nonprofits at this time of year are hosting fundraisers, and they're doing their big work, their heavy lifting to make sure that they have the tools necessary to go out and respond the way that they are built to respond to community needs on a good day. In these days, everybody's out there, they're scratching for what they can to try to provide services. How have you all tried to make sure that not only your needs are met, but that you mentioned advocacy a moment ago, that we can start to connect some dots about how certain agencies can work well together to solve certain challenges, or just that overall from a community spirit, if you will, there are things that we can tackle with good conversation and good, organizational togetherness, if that makes sense. Have you seen some of that change as people have had to get creative with how they're reaching people and ultimately what they can provide?
I'm hearing a lot of those conversations now, and I think the need now is greater than ever. On a personal level, different fundraisers were cut for us early on, and so that meant a $29,000 deficit just for some early things like empty bowls and a simple gesture pickup. And I know, locally more broadly, many nonprofits are missing fundraisers. They're missing in-person engagement, and so much of this is going virtual. And I think it's a time where we can all really think about the needs that are going on in our community, think about ways that we can plug into our passions and how we might help our local citizens. I think local nonprofits too are thinking about different ways that we can lean on each other and ways that we can help each other out. I'm seeing more and more of that partnership and innovative thinking. I'm very, very grateful for that.
If somebody did want to get in contact with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
They can call our main line. That's 828-262-1628. Can also give us an email, and all of that is listed on our website. That's hungerandhealthcoalition.com, and is spelled out. So hungerandhealthcoalition.com. And then also they can just come by. So we can, talk to folks from a distance. And if they want to engage and feel like they are healthy and well and don't have that travel history, they can stop by. So we are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And so we need help all the time with a variety of different tasks. So that's the best way to engage, I think.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything that you and your staff are doing for this community. It's incredibly important work. We know that you are one of the most creative folks in the nonprofit world up here, so I'm sure that you're coming up with new ideas every day. But great to hear a little bit about what you've got going on, and I'm sure the community will rally behind you and everybody else that's got the need right now in the nonprofit sector as we move through this. So thanks for your time today.
Thank you, David.